on, Coastal Crew? Welcome to possibly video 1 of 2, depends on how much we get done today, of overrated, underrated. So I posted a post like 2 days ago now, and I put it up in the community asking you guys for topics and ideas that you wanted to know our opinions on. So essentially how it goes is we'll say a topic, and it could be serious, it could be funny, and we'll say if we think it's overrated or underrated. All right. First one is intermittent fasting. Kelsey, what do you think?
Overrated.
Overrated. Why?
And I might have that opinion because I'm not as educated on it. But I find that, and you're probably going to hear this from me on a lot of the nutrition topics, I find that oftentimes people find results in intermittent fasting, carb cycling, Whole30, keto, just because they were eating so poorly and they weren't checking regular boxes that they had to find something different, and that something different was such a drastic move that's why they got the results that they got. It wasn't necessarily that it was intermittent fasting or the Whole30 or keto.
Whatever diet they did is just because they were doing so poor before.
Yes.
I agree. I also think sometimes it can lead to overeating because you go for such long periods of time without eating, and then you only have this short window where you have to like stuff your face. You're like, I'm gonna eat as much as I can.
Yeah.
And usually, at least for me, if I get home if I eat dinner around like 6 or so, and I don't eat again until breakfast around 7, like that's more than 12 hours. That's enough time for me to go without food.
And they make poor choices, because there's no necessary rules of what you can or you don't have to eat in that window, or you do or you don't eat in that window. It's just most of the time you just eat that window. So oftentimes it leads to
just junk.
Just junk. Yeah, absolutely.
So intermittent fasting, overrated. Next, carb cycling.
You go first.
Overrated. People have a hard enough time getting their regular diet under control, and then they expect to be able to track macros that are different every day. No, I tried it. It sucked.
I agree. I think that once again, unless you have checked all of the basic boxes first, consistently for a long amount of time, then it's confusing. It's a lot of work. Yes, you probably will get results, but is it sustainable?
Yeah.
And does it really make you feel good energy-wise?
I think, it doesn't go to the majority of our clients and gym members, but if you're like really dieting and like you're trying to like, I don't know, do a show or something, or like get really lean, then towards the end of that, I think it can become helpful, because then you have that high carb day to look forward to. But general public, overrated.
I agree.
Next, sleep. Underrated.
Underrated, 100%.
I don't think people understand how much getting a solid 7 to 9 hours of sleep changes everything and their results.
Recovery, mood, weight, gain or loss,
energy.
Right? Energy. I think it's highly underrated.
Easy. Massage guns. Let's hear, what do you think?
So I have never tried one before.
Oh, really?
And once again, I feel like, are you checking all of the other boxes? I know this is a conversation we had yesterday, so I don't want to steal your thunder, but are you checking all of the other boxes of proper recovery before jumping right to a massage gun? So I'm going to let you go on that.
I feel like a hypocrite because I just bought one, but I think they're overrated because you can't expect to spend, and we got like a cheap one, like $50, but it gets the job done. But like if you're planning on spending like $200 to $400 on this fancy massage gun, and yet you're not getting 8 hours of sleep, you're not drinking enough water, you're not eating the foods you're supposed to eat, but you think that just hammering a muscle is gonna, like, you're skipping steps.
Absolutely.
And it's just, I mean, it does feel good, but like, it's not a magic pill.
Absolutely.
All right. Strength training.
Strength training. Underrated?
Underrated.
I mean,
It's not hard.
that's an obvious one. For us.
So cardio.
Well, I'm gonna say underrated.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna put that in the overrated category because I think that there is a time and a place and a need for it in your life. Does it need to be what you were doing in high school on the soccer field? No, right? But I do think that steady state exercise should play a role in your lifestyle.
I would agree with you. I think doing cardio for the sake of losing weight is overrated.
Yep.
And strength training for the sake of losing weight is underrated.
Absolutely.
Because you need muscle. Like, to get the look that you want, you need muscle, so you need to strength train. But absolutely correct, your cardiovascular health is just overlooked. And you can tell when you haven't been paying up on your cardio, and then summer rolls around, you start to want to go outside and do things, and you're like, oof, it's not good.
Well, like you said though, you don't necessarily want to rely on it for your fat loss or weight loss. There's a magic combination that we want to have. But I also think that running in general, let's just talk about running in general. It kind of got a bad rap. Like, recently, I feel like, more recently, like, you shouldn't run. Running's overrated. If you really enjoy it and it doesn't hurt, I think it should have a place in your lifestyle.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people have been like, why would you run? Why would you waste time doing that? Hey, if you like it, it feels good, it's not hurting you, then I think you should.
If you like running, kudos to you.
Man, we're agreeing a lot. I didn't expect us to agree so much.
I think that we will disagree on some of these.
Okay.
Protein bars as meals. Overrated. 120 calorie protein bar is not a meal. It's just not. As a snack to, like, after your workout, to hold you over till your next meal, I can see it. But, like, the majority of them, the instant ones I think of, like actual protein bars, is One bars. Cliff bars kind of have a protein bar now. Gatorade bars, and then Quest bars. Those are the ones that I initially think of. All have, like, I think they're around like 200 calories and like anywhere from like 15 to 20 grams of protein, and then I think 20-ish grams of carbs. The Gatorade and the Cliff bar is probably more, but like it's 200 calories just isn't enough calories to fuel you.
No, I wouldn't call it a meal.
And we want real food anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at your goals.
Yeah.
What are you trying to accomplish? I'm assuming that we're talking about fat loss or weight loss.
Yeah.
When people look at a protein bar as a meal replacement, there's so much more food that you could have.
Yeah, you're not even going to be full from it.
No, there's so much more that you could actually consume that will benefit you longer and like in the long run. So, overrated.
Yeah. Daily stretching and mobility. What do you think?
So, this is, I'm gonna label this as underrated. Sorry.
Okay.
Because I support daily movement.
Okay.
Are we looking at exploring full ranges of motion when we say this?
Mm-hmm.
So define that a little bit more. Daily stretching and mobility.
I don't know. I guess I would say it's a little bit of both under and over, I guess, depending on who you look at, because like we want to move daily and we want to stretch out, like we want to stretch, especially if we're constantly sitting. We want to be able to get our hip flexors out of that like crunched position. But like if you're spending like a half hour doing like a mobility routine every day because you feel like you need to do it, you don't really need to do it. Like if you're going to the gym, to me, mobility is strength training through range of motion. And then, so like that in itself is mobility work. And then we put you through a dynamic warm up and you might stretch after too. So I think if you're doing it like for more than 30 minutes a day, it's overrated, but underrated in the sense that you should move every day. Like, how many times have you not done something on the weekend, and then on Monday you're like, wow, I'm really stiff, and you didn't even do anything?
I think also I look at it like, does it need to be a 30-minute session blocked out in your day? Like, I support exploring ranges of motion within limits, so you can still take full breaths in and out, right? But is it when you wake up in the morning, you're working on your shoulder mobility just by moving your arms forward and backwards 5 times, right? Where you're working on your daily mobility, but it's not necessarily a 30-minute time period where you're stretching
or like
holding
throughout the
positions.
day.
Yeah. So I guess the thought of stretching don't always think of it as like a hold, a static hold. But exploring ranges of motion in your joints. And being able to breathe in those positions. Now, I just do want to say though, hamstring stretching.
Stop it. Stop with that nonsense. Your hamstrings aren't tight. You have poor pelvic positioning. It's a matter of fact.
Yeah, stop stretching hamstrings. Most of you don't need it.
Maybe we can do a Wisdom Wednesday on that.